Hi folks, today I wanted to talk about used cameras, older cameras. We all get into the habit of chasing the latest and the greatest, the fastest, the better low light performance, greater buffer rate, etc. And all of that is all well and good, and for every tool there's a purpose, and for every purpose nowadays there's a tool. But that doesn't mean that you and I may need that equipment for what we want to do. Now I'm taking this as an example. This is the Nikon D90. Came out I think about 2008. This is actually a historical camera because this was the first DSLR to have video. So this is what started it all. It's not the best, it's only basic 720 HD, but I wouldn't use it for video now. But this is the camera that set the trend, and now we have cameras that can produce video quality. Even full-length feature films have been made with DSLRs now. But as far as photography goes, why would you need anything better than this, or why would you not be able to use this for your photography? Well, this is 12 megapixels. That is more than enough, because we all seem to chase megapixels, but many weddings were photographed on 12 megapixels and less. Up until not that long ago, there's still many wedding photographers who are out there with using Nikon D3s that are all still 12 megapixels. Not a problem at all. The low light performance is not as good as what you can get nowadays, but you can comfortably use this up to say ISO 1600, 32 at a push with a bit of work afterwards if it means getting the shot. Again, if you need to switch to low light for whatever reason, you can always, or rather in low light, you can always switch to black and white. Even if you have a very good camera, there may be situations where you don't want that camera with you. Maybe you're going somewhere that's dusty, maybe you're going somewhere where you don't want to be walking around with an 800, 1000 pound plus body and a 500, 600 pound lens on it. You can get a Nikon D90 for less than 200 pounds, beautiful one, and you can put a 1.50mm 1.8D or a 35mm 1.8G lens on it, and you can take wonderful images. Now, if you are into, say, time-lapse, some of the latest cameras have built-in time-lapse facility, but if you bear in mind that for every 25 seconds of time-lapse, or rather for every second of time-lapse, there's 25 frames, depending, regardless of the interval of the frames. To make for every second of video, there's a minimum of 25 frames. 10 seconds of time-lapse is 250 frames. It can soon add up to thousands of frames on your valuable camera that do significantly affect the resale value of it. You can do that with this. Just to put it in perspective, 4K video is actually 8 megapixel frames. This is 12. So you can shoot time-lapse, albeit with an additional time-lapse accessory that you can get on eBay for £5 or £6. You can shoot 4K time-lapse with this camera, and you can take as many shots as you want. It's not going to make much difference on the value of this camera. Again, if you're going to go somewhere on holiday and you don't want to take an expensive camera with you, a walkabout camera, entry-level camera, there's a lot to be said for it. Because if you actually stop and think, how many of your images do you actually print to a significant size? 90%, 95% of images now just go on Facebook and maybe Flickr here or there, the old website. Beyond that, not many people print anything that's beyond 8x12, 12x18, occasionally 24x16. You don't need the definition of one of the latest cameras. It's wonderful, it's great when you're being a geek and you're blowing something up to 500% and looking at the definition of someone's hair, but you take an image printed up to anything up to a reasonable size and you put it side by side, one taken with this and one taken with one of the latest cameras of 24 or 36 megapixels and beyond, nobody will really know the difference. It wouldn't make much difference. Like I've always said, there are 4 factors to a great image: creativity, light, lens, camera. Camera comes last. So don't rule out these older bodies. It's always worth having 1 or 2 for spare. If I'm doing anything important, I actually take this as a spare to the spare, because you can never have enough spare when the shots matter. And I still use this camera a lot. In fact, I still have my original D70S, which was my first Nikon DSLR, and that's only 6 megapixels, but in certain instances I take that out with me with a prime lens, and I have a camera with me that I'm not too worried about when I don't want my new camera out and about, so that I spend the whole day or the whole evening worrying about my camera. So there's a lot to be said for these old cameras. It's like I'm talking about an antique, and yes, technology wise there has been great leaps forward, but at the end of the day it all boils down to 3 or 4 settings: your shutter speed, lens aperture, and ISO sensitivity. You have all of those, and within reason you can still shoot in fairly low light with this without any problem at all, albeit that you may need some noise reduction afterwards as compared to a newer camera, but it doesn't mean that the shots from this are bad. They're still good. You can still produce wonderful images even with something like this. So definitely worth considering, even as a spare. Bye.